Underground Railroad. First thumbs up.
You would.
Good looking family, huh?
There's one more thing I got for you, a big hug.
Okay, good.
That's Trump's new Secret Service protection.
Family you got, huh? Very nice. How are you? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. That was a big evening last night, right?
Yes, it was.
That was a big evening. What a good looking family.
That's the new
huh?
Secret Service guy.
I got for you, a big hug.
Wouldn't know it.
Democrats couldn't even stand up. Democrats suck. They didn't cheer nothing. Except Ukraine. Then Trump called out Pocahontas to her face.
Right, no.
He sold his soul down at the crossroads. Robert Johnson.
Then you all took an oath of office. Mr. Adams, did you swear to
I've been
uphold?
tearing them mayors up, them sanctuary city mayors. What's on my head? It's my toboggan. I just had to push up. I was in the truck. It's hot.
The Constitution of the United States?
Oh, yes, I do.
How about you, Mayor Johnson?
Yes, sir, I did.
How about you, the other Mayor Johnson?
Yeah, the Constitution of the United States as well as the Constitution of Illinois.
Okay, and Mayor,
Yes.
you did. Are you familiar with the Supremacy Clause?
Say it's Wednesday.
Any of you?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Then under the Supremacy Clause, you understand that the laws of the United States take precedent over the laws of Colorado,
bitches is
over the
breaking the
laws
law.
of Illinois, over the laws of Massachusetts, and your cities. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
But when you declared your cities sanctuary cities, you did so illegally. Do you understand that?
Respectfully, sir, I would disagree with that. We follow
You're
every
disagreeing
federal
with
law.
the law. It's against the law to give sanctuary to people who have committed felonies, and it's a felony to cross the border illegally.
There
You
is
gave sanctuary to people who are here illegally. You violated your oath to uphold the Constitution because of the
They should be
Supremacy
drugged
Clause.
out of
The
office.
laws of the United States take preference. But you didn't do that.
There is, thank you, sir. There's no part of our city law that violates federal law. No part of the practices or services we provided that violate federal law.
Did you personally violate the law then by giving sanctuary? Somebody gave these people sanctuary. You declared your city, city of Boston was declared a sanctuary city by you, Mayor.
Being a sanctuary city as you describe it, or being a city as we describe it, that's home for everyone, does not, it means that if
When
you
you
commit a
give
crime,
safe
we're
harbor
held
to
accountable
people who are
regardless of
here
immigration
illegally,
status.
and when you interfere with the officers of the law who are there to even remove people that you know have committed crimes, you have violated your oath of office.
And they should be
You've
took out
committed
right
a
then.
crime. Mr. Chairman, I don't understand why we haven't been discussing obstruction of justice.
Yeah. What's called refer them all to Pam Bondi.
3 pounds that were found last year. That's less than a carry-on suitcase. Is that a lot of fentanyl compared to, say, Mexico? The vast majority of the fentanyl is brought in through Mexico, not Canada. So what else does Canada need to do?
Well, I just told.
This one also has an engine light on.
Does?
I keep it on, the engine light come on. Let me check it tomorrow.
Yeah, check
We'll
it.
put the computer on it. We will check it.
All right, he'll be over in the morning. He wants to look at that Toyota.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can see the other one, but
And you
tomorrow-
won't have the title for that one till Friday.
until Friday. Yes,
All right.
you're right. Friday around like noontime they will mail it. You see the delivery is by noontime,
Okay.
and we can get it like Friday. It will be in home. You can get it the next day here to the work.
Okay.
You last year alone there was a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl. You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe. And frankly, I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the families in this country who have lost loved ones at the hands of this deadly poison. If you talk to them, and this president has, they are grateful that they finally have a president who is standing up to both Canada and Mexico, and most importantly to China as well. The president added an additional 10% tariff on China because this deadly poison is being produced in that country. It's being distributed through our neighbors, and there needs to be consequences for that, period.
It's just 43 pounds that were found last.
Oh, shut up.
Ending the transfer of individuals into ICE custody for the
Anna
purpose
Paulina.
of civil immigration enforcement encourages illegal immigration into Chicago. Or how about agencies, or agents not being able to stop, arrest, or detain individuals based solely on their immigration status or administrative warrant?
So we comply with all laws, local, state, and federal.
No, you don't.
To me, after this line of questioning, it's very clear
And that's
that
what
these
should be
policies
happening.
that you have
All of these people that are breaking the fucking law should be held accountable. Every one of them.
implicated are active and alive and well in your cities are in direct
That's
violation
why we're in the
with
shape
U.S.
we're in. Our
Title
country's in the
8
shape it is
Code
because people
subsection
are too scared
1324,
to
and
hold
it's
them
a
accountable.
federal.
Last night when that sumbitch was up there with his pimp cane, talking shit to Trump, that guy looks like a fucking Cro-Magnon man. Looks like the guy off the commercial for the caveman. I was at the house going, sit your black ass down.
Offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled.
Yeah.
Which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses, I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi.
Pam
I'm
Bondi's
not doing
getting them.
that
She
in
probably
an
ain't gonna do
effort
shit.
to bully you guys, but
The first day I'm gonna release the damn Epstein files, and then come to find out she don't have them all. Some jackass up in New York City. New York City, you say? That's where they make the best pecani sauce. He's holding them. FBI guys holding them back after she said she wanted them. Is that not obstruction? Is that not yeah, that's obstruction. Why is he not being fucking charged? And y'all are sitting on all this shit, knowing y'all got a bitch in jail for fucking for trafficking kids. She had to be taking them to somebody. Mark, what's up? Yeah, I was calling to tell you, you know somebody wants some dirt? Okay. I didn't know. I done talked to so damn many people about it. Yeah, no. People will be needing that dirt. That's virgin dirt. Yeah. No, I'm talking about on construction jobs. I'm talking about for construction jobs. Yeah. Yeah, it's virgin dirt. All right, just let me know. I probably got close to 3,000 to 5,000 out there. All right, let me know.
Do you believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice? But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Would you yield your last minute?
Yes, sir.
Я не хочу быть антиевропейцем, так я скажу. Но вот нынешняя ситуация подтверждает.
I'm gonna translate this for y'all. I mean, my Russian's a little rusty.
Мысль, которую очень многие историки излагают, а именно, что вот
последние 500 лет,
когда сформировался вот более-менее Запад в том виде, в котором он дошел до наших дней, ну, естественно, с какими-то там изменениями, вот эти все 500 лет, да, все трагедии мира, зарождались в Европе или благодаря европейской политике.
That asshole Mike called me this morning about 5:45, and since I got the phones up here transferred to my cell phone, he woke me up. I said, Chapman. He said, hey, what's about to rush? I said, motherfucker, oh, you about me. Yeah, click, hung up on him. Then he called me up here this morning about 8:30. I said, you call me again late like that after hours, and I'm going to blast your phone number all over YouTube.
Колонизация, войны, крестоносцы, Крымская война.
Oh no, I already got people doing samples over there.
Первая мировая,
I'm telling other people, other guys that I know.
И если так вот посмотреть ретроспективно.
Yeah, because I didn't want to get up at 5:45. My clock is set for 6. Now sometimes I'll wake up early, but I was in a good dream, and that girl, I can't remember her name. She's blonde-headed, and she was doing things to me. It's probably illegal in about 4 or 5 states.
На историю. Ну, американцы-то не играли никакой такой подстрекательской, тем более зажигательской роли. И сейчас, после срока Байдена,
this is what should be going on. Zelensky, we're not sending you no more money. Too bad. And we're going to put sanctions on you to get our money back from what we did send you.
That the IRS is planning to lay off as much as half of its 90,000 person workforce. We don't know if we will hear from President Trump tonight about that.
As I tell people, make sure you go out and get enough popcorn because there's going to be a rush on popcorn and there's going to be none left. This is going to be a good show.
Hey guys, that incredible news just broke this afternoon. Prior to President Trump's speech this evening, friends, there is incredibly good things taking place, and you're going to hear about...
I'm going to Longhorn tonight. I'm going.
Many of them in this Real News Report with Sam Anthony. Before we start, just a quick word about our sponsor. Finding an honest doctor that's not following in the footsteps of Big Pharma can be pretty tricky. That's why
he grabbed my hand. His hand was skin soft as a lady's or a baby's skin, but it was
a pussy. He's got soft hands like a girl. He's a pussy.
Grip of a man. And we spent 30 minutes, mostly me asking questions.
Asking questions about how did you get your skin so soft?
And he giving answers. And he claimed that he was from the inside of the planet that our Bible calls the morning and the evening star. The planet Venus? He said yes. All of this time, Mr. Thor was at the Pentagon for 3 years, mind you. And he was going and coming at will. He was brought to the President of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower, and Richard Nixon, offered to give them information on how the...
They do got that good bread. I'm going to get me a salad and a Tunyon. And then I want to get I like to get the cheeseburgers there and French fries. I don't really like steak that much. Sometimes I do eat the chicken and rice that they got.
American people could successfully...
But they got that good bread and you spread that butter on it. Now there's a place out there in Noonan. I can't remember the name of it. It's a famous place though. I've eaten there 3 or 4 times. But they got that honey butter. They used to have that shit at Ryan's. That honey butter. Oh, that shit's good.
Live without sickness.
You know how you can make honey butter, Jamie? How's that? Will you take you some butter and put some honey on
it? Without...
No, that ain't how you do it, is it?
Poverty, without...
It's right there in the name, honey butter.
Disease, and without death. They told him, we're sorry that we cannot accept the information that you're freely giving us because it will ruin the economy of this nation. Well, sir, Commander Thor left on the morning of March 16, 1960, on the outskirts of Alexandria, Virginia, where his spaceship came down. He went into the spaceship and disappeared.
Oh, Charlie's, that's it, Gibson. Oh, Charlie's. They give you rolls and then that honey butter. I didn't ever really like eating there, but we'd eat there from time to time.
Stop. And it's got to stop in the Jews. The Jews won't let the Second World War stop. They keep the Second World War going. They keep it going.
Charlie wasn't crazy. They locked that bitch up. He didn't do nothing. He ain't killed nobody.
And they keep it going. They keep perpetuating it because they're making money. As soon as the Second World War was over, they never stopped the brainwash. The brainwash that they were selling the American public was making money. You see what I'm saying? They were making money. They're not going to stop making money. If the combination's there to make money, they're going to keep selling it. They'll sell it all the way till I'm in the cell with a guy named Milman, Jerry Milman. And he's got pictures of Hitler and Japanese and things all. I said, boy, Hitler must have been a hell of a guy. He said, Hitler was terrible. I hate him. I said, why do you hate him? He said, I'm a Jew. I said, well, why do you enshrine this guy? Is he your daddy? And he looked up to his mother's fear. And his mother's fear was Hitler. Hitler was like his father's figure. He loved Hitler, but he hated Hitler. He needed Hitler to hold him up. Because Hitler was holding his hate up. Because without his hate, he didn't exist. He didn't have no reason to live unless he had some hate. He didn't have any reason to buy and sell unless the money held him up. You took the money away from him, you took the hate away from him, he'd be gone. So how do you communicate to a whole group of people? You stand up and you take the worst fear symbol there is and say, there, now I've got your fear. Now I've got your fear. And your fear is your power, and your power is your control.
Charlie was telling the truth.
You stand up and you take the worst fear symbol there is.
I'm going to ask you a question, a simple question.
What are you talking
Give
about?
me a simple answer, Jojo. What is a woman, Jojo?
Yes. Well, a woman is whatever. If you feel like you're a woman, then you're a woman. I know.
Here we go with some bullshit. She's retarded.
I'm a woman. I identify as a woman.
So if
Man, how do you think she's a woman? She's got breasts right there. You can see the cleavage she's got showing right there. Quit looking at my tits, Jamie.
I
feel like a woman right now, I'm a woman?
I'm not threatened.
Hang on,
If you feel like you're a woman,
Hang
it's
on.
your identity,
So hang on,
If
just to
you-
be clear.
I'm sorry, what's
I
a
heard
man?
you.
Piers, what's your
Just to
definition
be
of a
clear.
man?
Just
I'm
to
a
be
woman.
clear.
What's your
Just to be
definition?
She won't shut up. You know she's a woman.
Yeah.
a man.
So just to be clear, if I feel like a woman right now, I am a woman. Is that your position?
And if you feel like you are a woman, Piers,
This
and you want to
fucking-
walk around
this
identifying as a
bullshit
woman,
that we had to this. You should have stopped it, nipped it in the bud, like Barney Fife said. Nip it in the bud. Clip it. Because that's a bunch of bullshit. If somebody would have stood up to this bullshit when they started pushing this bullshit, we wouldn't be in this bullshit. And it started with Barack and Big Mike Michelle Obama, because she's a man and Barack is gay. He likes to suck cock. I'm sorry, but he does.
it is not my prerogative to tell you that you
Am
cannot.
I a woman?
I identify
Am I a
as a
woman?
woman. What is
Am
a
I a
man,
woman?
Piers? What is a man?
Oh, a man
Is
is an
Donald Trump
adult
a man?
human.
Can I-
That's it.
Pierce, can I
Male.
jump into that question?
Adult,
An adult
human,
human.
male.
An adult human male.
Adult human male is a
An
man.
adult
yes.
human male.
Can I
Yes.
finally get
And a
to
woman
like
is an
55
adult
pounds of
human
cake makeup and
female.
right.
Adult
Can I
human
finally get to say
female.
You're asking what a woman is. I am a
Adult
woman. I
human
identify
male.
as a woman.
Okay, but just to be clear,
You're retarded, man.
Yes, hang on, Matt. I'm going to bring Matt in. I just want to
Oh, Matt,
sorry,
you
double
really
down
need
on
to
this.
stay
Is
on
it
this
Gibson's
one.
birthday?
I just want to be clear,
You
Jojo.
don't want to go here, Matt.
Jojo
Sorry.
said if you feel like a woman, you're a woman. So Jojo,
Feel like a woman. That's a commercial.
final time, if I now say
It's
I
an
feel like a
identity.
woman.
It's not about
No, sorry,
biology.
I'm asking
Is it Gibson's birthday?
you a
Identity.
question. Stop talking.
Cheers.
If I now say
She
I
can't stop talking. She's a woman.
feel like a woman, am I a woman? Am I a woman? If I say
If
I
you
feel
feel
like
like a woman, you're a woman.
Wow.
What does that mean, though? What does that
Wow.
mean?
Yeah, she's retarded. Gibson, is it your birthday? 50 years old. Damn, man, you're getting old, man. Here it goes. Sit down, Gibson. Put your shoes and socks on. Tie them up tight. You might want to get a tissue because you're probably going to get emotional. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gibson. Shaggy motherfucker. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Gibson. The ranks of 2 weeks ago.
Because there's going to be overspray. If somebody's choking the crap out of you, you're pinned against the car, they got you on the floor, something's going wrong, and you're able to get the gun out, and you try to push on them. In other words, get off of me, you piece of shit. If you do this, the gun's out of battery. See it? It's unlocked. So you have to get it off of them to make it work. Okay? It is the redeeming value of a revolver. Because in a revolver, if I was carrying a revolver for an ankle gun or a backup gun or something like that, like when you're at work, if you wear slacks or something, you go, well, it's not really comfortable to have a gun. I'm telling you right now, you can put an ankle gun on you, you won't even know it's there. Yet when you're getting your ass kicked and you're on the ground getting your ass handed to you, okay, even at my age with all my busted up shit, I'll carry an ankle gun because if they're on top of me, I get the freaking gun out, okay? And if it's a revolver, I intentionally put it against them because the wound channel is 1/3 to 1/4 more dynamic. Now, you will have to take a shower because there's going to be overspray. If some
overspray.
What's this?
Talk to a police officer like a police officer.
Is that a problem?
Yeah, this is a police law enforcement parking lot. Yeah, it is a problem.
Oh. Who are you?
I'm Detective Mike Jardine.
Oh, yeah? What are you working on? What are you working on right now?
Several cases.
Okay.
What is this about?
Are you working on something right now?
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
All right, what are you working on? What are you working on?
It doesn't matter what I'm working on. I'm asking you, what are you doing here taking pictures?
Where have you been today? Have you been here all day? Or have you been out and about a little bit?
What is this about? Who are you?
I'm asking the questions. Where have you been today?
No,
have you been here?
I'm asking the questions. You're on this property. You're on this property, so you need to answer my questions.
Are you drunk? Why are you slurring your words today? So have you been here all day, or have you been out? Have you been to the bar today at all?
Should have Slave Master. He should have invited me
over there. Have you been to the bar today?
Who are you?
I'm an investigator.
He does keep me on the holidays.
Investigative journalist. I investigate corrupt officials. So I'm wondering, where have you been today? Have you been here all day, or have you been out at the bar at all?
Working on a fraud case. That's
Okay.
where I've been.
Okay. Have you been to the bar at all today?
No.
Okay. You got any drugs on you? Have you used any drugs today?
What a ridiculous question.
That's not a ridiculous question. Do you know where he's been today?
I don't keep tabs on him.
Okay.
On and about.
Do you know what time his shift started?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Does he usually drink on the job, or no? Not that anybody knows of for sure. Have you guys ever breathalyzed him while he's been on the job? Would you submit to a breathalyzer for me right now?
You're ridiculous. You know that?
Hang
You
on.
got about 5 minutes to get out of here right now.
Or what?
Or what?
12 noon.
You're on
My
law
property.
enforcement. This isn't your
Yeah, it is.
property.
Shut the hell up. Get out of here now.
What'd you say?
I said shut up and get out
No,
of here.
you get out of here now.
Hey, you better get your boy. Get your butt back in your office and do
shut
your
up.
job.
You shut up and get
You
out of
get
here.
your butt back in your office and do your job.
No.
You quit drinking on the job. You understand me?
Whatever.
You punk ass. You get your back in there. You don't look back here again. I'll be watching you. You are now under investigation.
To be clear, it has not been proven that Detective Mike Jardine is or was drinking on the job.
That was a good video. Look at her. Look, that's a man right there, man. She is a man. And she's got purple hair, and y'all, who voted for this bitch?
Talk about. Every single country in the world has off topics.
You can't criticize the Jews. You can't say nothing bad about the Jews. Them are lovely people. Lovely, lovely people.
Off-limit topics. In Russia, it's Putin. In the Middle East, it's Islam. In Turkey, it's Erdogan. If you talk against them, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Do you know what the American one is?
What, speaking out against the Dems?
Speaking out against the Jews. If you speak out against the Jews in America, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. So every single country has their off-limit topics. So there's no such thing as free speech anywhere. But that is different than having an ideological alignment. My point I was making between Russia and America is that they are nationalistic patriarchies, truthfully, in their homes, in their hearts, and in their governments.
He should have invited me
Europe
down.
are none of those things.
He done had
Europe
his
are not even
birthday party.
nationalistic.
Now he's trying to get me over there and feed me some bullshit bologna sandwich, and that ain't gonna work.
Europeans, most of them believe that they should be replaced by third worlders, or that when they get killed by third worlders,
I
it's
can
just
make a bologna
part
sandwich
and
at the house.
parcel of living in a big city.
I
No
want some
big deal.
hardcore
Oh, we
stuff.
let a bunch of people in, they killed some of us. Oh, well.
Banana pudding?
Diversity is our strength. We don't have anything in common with these people anymore.
Why is my damn thing switching? Wow. Working, what are you doing? Yeah, it was a bad storm over here too last night. Yeah.
Those emails.
Yeah, he said you'd have been out there cleaning it up. Well, hey, can I call you when I get in the truck? Yeah, call me back when you by yourself. I want to talk to you about the cab. All right. All right. Bye.
Those are bananas.
Me and Carol went on Joe Rogan. And it brought out the Pizzagate bullshit.
They're not explained. They're talking about young kids who are going to be coming to a party to have fun. They're talking
They'll
about
be in the
pizza
pool, and they will be there
dogs.
for sure. $65,000 worth of hot dogs flown from Chicago for a White House party.
The whole thing is like very weird.
Did you ever see the archived Instagram post from James Alefantis' Instagram?
No.
Because that's a dark place. So that there's so many layers to Pizzagate that they tried to cover up intentionally for very good reason.
Well, how about the logos?
Well, the thing is, I avoid, in the way I've talked about it, I've avoided all the symbols and logos and even some of the pizza stuff because I think there's so much more ripe, clear evidence that is way more powerful. And James Alefantis' Instagram account is a great example where...
Where can you find it online?
So you cannot find it on Instagram anymore. It's only been archived onto other sites, which is kind of sketchy because it's like, how do I know you're not adding photos and stuff? So you kind of have to dig and cross-reference over and over and over to make sure that you're getting sort of like the consensus, because everyone watched as it happened. Right. So people like Liz Crokin, people like Alex Jones, like they saw these things come out. And you can find plenty of different archives of all of James Alefantis' Instagram posts. And there are things like photos of children with their arms taped to tables. And the caption is, looks like a fun time. And then people that have always been commenting on his posts, like the people that are interacting with his posts all the time, have even weirder Instagrams where it's like kill room. And there's a coffin that's open and things like that. There's like a photo of like a walk-in freezer and it's like, man, looks like you've been having a fun weekend. Things like that are just super dark. And a bunch of babies and a bunch of symbolism, a bunch of children. And it's all photos on their Instagram in plain daylight. And they all got scrubbed, obviously.
Jesus
and that's
Christ.
not to mention Podesta's art collection and the Marina Abramovich connections. It goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Clintons with the Haiti scandals, with the cocaine in Arkansas. It's like the thing is that we sound crazy. I sound crazy to someone that doesn't do their own research.
Start her a ticket today for parking. She called me earlier. She's gonna be parking down there. She's gonna be in a couple hours, she said. Go ahead and start.
What up, this Wyclef?
Gotcha. Joseph Stalin, Illuminati Grand Orient Lodge. Lenin Trotsky, Grand Orient Lodge. Henry Kissinger. It looks like a bunch of Jews.
Committee of 300. J. Edgar Hoover, 33. Cecil Jones.
Bunch of Jews. Good fellas. Them are good fellas.
I like it in there. It's better than a real doctor. I think there's no ego at an urgent care. That's what's fun, you know? You go to a doctor's office, they talk down to you, right? Diplomas on the wall. They're like, I went to school. I know everything. Urgent care is like, do you have $40? Let's figure this out together. We don't know any more than you know? Let's put our heads in a room and let's tackle this sinus infection as a team. And that's fun. You know how you fill out all your info in the lobby on like a clipboard and then they take you to another room and act like you never did that? So the nurse comes in, we're face to face, she's asking me questions. She goes, what are you in for? I said, my nose is clogged. She said, you been taking anything? I said, just Sudafed. And she goes, oh, can you spell that for me? I was like, Sudafed? I maybe could. I would like you to take a stab at it, though, right? Feels like something you should know. I know y'all share a lease with a T-Mobile store, but this feels like day one stuff, honestly. Look, I've been taking ibuprofen as well, so maybe I sounded that one out.
We'll return to our continent with a pacified Russia. But we have to look at the situation before us. To remain a spectator in this dangerous world would be crazy. We need, without any further ado, to take steps to guarantee the security of France, Europe and Ukraine first. All of the initiatives for peace are going. Peace will return to our continent with.
When you live in a society where the firefighters are the heroes, little kids want to be firefighters. When you live in a society where athletes and movie stars are the heroes, little kids want to be athletes and movie stars. In Palestinian society, the heroes are those who murder Jews. We can't let this continue. We can't let this happen any longer. You cannot achieve peace if terrorists are treated as martyrs. Glorifying terrorists is a tremendous barrier to peace. It is a horrible, horrible way to think. It's a barrier that can't be broken. That will end, and it'll end soon, believe me. In Palestinian textbooks and mosques, you've got a culture of hatred that has been fermenting there for years, and if we want to...
Yeah, probably because the Jewish people come in and took their land. Probably why they're angry. I can understand why they'd be angry about that.
Achieve peace. They've got to go out and they've got to start this educational process. They have to end education of hatred. They have to end it, and now. The tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. Yeah. And our country will be woke no longer.
Look at them all sitting down over here. All these girls got the pink
We've
on.
ended the tyranny of so-called diversity.
One of the problems, and I'm controversial on this, people in the industry don't like me for what I'm about to say. My son is probably telling me not to say it right now in my ear. But I don't think the vaccine industry should have immunity.
Sitting low.
I was going to ask you that.
I think they should have responsibility like any other manufacturer of any other product for their product. And I'm particularly concerned about this now because, you know, my clinical practice right now, which I'm still in 2.5 days a week, is largely COVID and long COVID. But among my, quote, long COVID patients are people that don't have long COVID, but they have mRNA vaccine injury.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know,
give you AIDS.
There's not a clear path for them to have their injury recognized and compensated. And I think that's wrong. I think hopefully Kennedy will have a critical review, not saying that the mRNA vaccines aren't safe, not saying they shouldn't. Let's just have an objective review by the FDA. Marty, you got to review these products. Let's see the safety data. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me you're holding it off till 2026. No. Right. I want the safety data out there.
How about they were trying to hold that shit in secret for 75 years?
I'm saying, and it's along the boardwalk.
Judge's order that could force the.
Is a Pope Francis Catholic? I don't blame POTUS. He's human, like all of us. He makes mistakes at times. Very fooled. Most conservatives were her Fox Catholic persona. Like the Pope, like this Pope, she's a fraud.
Trump administration to resume foreign aid payments. A lot of this has to do with USAID, and Shannon Bream is on that. Shannon, what happened?
Okay, so this is one of the very first things from this term to make it fully to some kind of decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. And this is about foreign aid that was ordered to be paid out by a lower court judge. There were groups who take in USAID money, and they had gone and said, listen, this freeze is harming us. And they went to the district court judge, that lower court level, and he said, yes, the government has to pay this out. It went through the appeals, got to the Supreme Court. They, by a 5-4 vote today, say they won't put that judge's order on hold. But they've told that lower court, now you need to explain to the Trump administration exactly what money you want them to pay out. The dissenters, led by Justice Alito, also with Thomas, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh, which means that Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Barrett did side with the Democrat appointees on the court. They've said they're dissenting, and let me read you a little bit of this. They say the court makes a most unfortunate misstep that rewards an act of judicial hubris and imposes a $2 billion penalty on American taxpayers. They say the relief that's been ordered to pay this money out is an extreme response. It says a federal court has many tools to address a party's supposed malfeasance. Self-aggrandizement of its jurisdiction is not one of them. In plain English, they think the lower court got it wrong and was way out of bounds to order this money paid out. They say it's going to be to the harm of the American taxpayer. They've now said to that lower court, explain to the Trump administration exactly what they have to do, but the order stands, the money's got to go out.
Shannon, how big of a surprise is this? How do you find it?
Listen, anytime it's a 5-4, you can't be sure exactly. You know, it was a close decision. One vote flips either Roberts or Barrett the other way, and this is a different decision. So we knew they were wrestling with it, and the fact that this lengthy dissent has been written, led by Justice Alito, means the court really struggled with it. But it is a loss for the Trump administration. Of the nearly 100 cases now pending, there's some other stuff we're waiting.
If I was Trump, I'd go, we ain't paying it. Nazis killed my great-grandma's friend in Belgium by putting him in a giant freezer. He fell out and broke into pieces in front of her. My grandfather as well. They painted a tunnel entrance on the side of a cliff, and my grandpa ran right into it.
The tariffs are on, but here's the truth they're not telling you.
The tariffs that Canada levies and impose right now on U.S. products, this is not new. It's been predating Trump. Milk, 270% tariff. Cheese, 245%. Butter, 298%. Chicken, 238%. Sausages, 69.9%. Lol. Copper, 48% tariffs. Aluminum, 45% tariffs. Steel, 25% tariffs. We tariff their metals more than they tariff ours. You know, cars, 45%. TVs, 45%. Eggs, 163%.
How does that work for tariffing American cars? Usually tariffs are to protect like your own industry, but we don't have any Canadian car manufacturers.
I don't think they give a fuck.
Canadians love to shit on Americans, but the hypocrisy is uncanny. All these tariffs have been online from way before Trump. Sure, a lot of it has to do with supply management, and they're based on quotas. It does not absolve the fact that we tariff American goods. We are not for free trade, absolutely not. If not, we would flood the market with American products. In the end, this is nothing more than another hidden tax. Our industries cannot compete with the American industries, so the real loser is the consumer, the Canadian consumer, who ends up paying a higher price. Now the question becomes, why aren't our industries competitive? And that could be taxes, regulations, or just overall poor economic environment. But in the end, there's no need to rage.
They're already putting tariffs on us.
We're not in the Middle East. We're in the U.S. It's Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Yeah, cut that bullshit off. That's a doctor right there. He's washing his butthole with meat. He's washing his butthole with meat. He ain't got a shoe on. Standing in the middle of the street. He ain't got no shame on his game. Been needing to pee for a while there. Just figured he'd do it right in the middle of the street. Butthole's all wet. He didn't even wipe off with nothing.
I don't think that even.
You can't catch, girl. That is a pretty good shot.
So this is the tongue. Everyone says I should just take a bite.
Cow tongue.
can't bite into it. I can't. I can't bite into that old trucker.
So tough?
Yeah.
You gotta.
It's tough. Alright, we just gonna skin it.
Have you cooked it?
Bro, there's no way.
Michael, try and take a bite on the other side. Wait, let Michael take a bite out of it. Michael could go through that thing.
Take a bite. Come on.
Polo moves to arrest opposition MP Metro after stripping his immunity.
I stand before you in
Polo's
handcuffs.
opposition MP Metro has been stripped of his immunity with his arrest officially announced during the CGM session.
In the Polish parliament. I'm an opposition MP and they want to throw me in jail for nothing. This is not justice, this is a political attack. Tusk government funded by Biden's Democrats, the German state and Soros Foundation is destroying democracy. They silence the opposition, control the media and use cards as weapons, just like they tried to do with President Trump. They was trying to kill him. In Romania, they arrested a conservative candidate for president. In Hungary, they attacked Viktor Orban because he defends his nation's freedom. But we will not give up. If America could fight back, so we can. Make Europe great again. Żebyś zrozumiał? Żebyś zrozumiał, chcesz po rosyjsku? To nie jest już demokracja, to jest
Took his own cuffs off.
To uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Sit your black ass down.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Drag him out by that ponytail. Stop running your mouth, get out.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you.
They done kicked the Zelensky out of the White House, the caveman out of Congress.
And the coin anything, hold it up and drop it. There it goes, straight down. Science calls this gravity, but let's break that down. They tell us that a mysterious force pulls everything toward the center of a spinning ball, but here's the problem. You've never actually seen gravity. What you just witnessed was density and buoyancy at work. The object you dropped was heavier than air, so it fell. A helium balloon lighter than air, so it rises. No magic force needed. Now let's go bigger. If gravity is strong enough to hold vast oceans stuck to a spinning globe, how does a butterfly lift off effortlessly? How do clouds, millions of tons of water?
Now watch this. So with the volume.
Engage with. I was talking with Paul Perez earlier. The drone technology that the cartels are using requires, unfortunately, a military response and military support. So it was important for Secretary Hegseth to see what's going on, because we know that the millions and millions of people who were let in over the last 4 years, many of them are connected to foreign terrorists. It's important for our leader. Requires, unfortunately, a military response and military support. So it was important for Secretary Hegseth to see what's going on, because we know that the millions and millions of people who were let in over the last 4 years, many of them are connected to foreign terrorists. It's important for our leader of national intelligence to get a sense of what's here on the ground. So before we take questions from the press, and all of us are willing to take questions, I want to give Secretary Hegseth and then Director Gabbard an opportunity to say a few words themselves. Mr. Secretary.
Well, Mr. Vice President, thank you very much for inviting us. It's great to be here with you, with the director, with our fellow friends in civilian clothes and in other shades of green. This is a demonstration of a true partnership on the southern border. As President Trump has made clear on the campaign trail and from day one and last night, border security is national security. And from the Defense Department, we've watched for a couple of decades other people's borders being secured, while ours was open for an invasion of drugs and of violence and of chaos for American communities. That stops under President Trump. And the Defense Department has assets that we can bring to bear, not just troops, not just surveillance, not just equipment, but actual planning and capabilities that enhance what Border Patrol is already doing, which is why it's been incredible to hear from our partners about what we've been able to allow them to do, facilitate them, and we've seen it in the numbers. 98% drop in crossings on the southern border. We're not yet at 100% operational control, but we are on our way, because that is the mandate that the president has given us. So more resources are coming to this border. We are dedicated to securing it. That's the reason for our trip and our partnership. And I want to thank all the men and women who've been doing it recently in uniform, who have been doing it a long time right here, have dedicated their lives to securing the American people. And at the Defense Department, we are committed to continuing to being a big part of it. So, Mr. Vice President, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Great. Now, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for your leadership in bringing the country's attention to what has been happening here at the border and the significant change that has already occurred under the short time that President Trump has been in office. Really, what you're seeing here today and what you'll continue to see is a unified effort across President Trump's national security team, the Department of Homeland Security, towards our mission, which is to ensure a safe, free, and prosperous society for Americans. As Director of National Intelligence, there are a number of areas where we are focused. The President talked about in his speech, over 21 million people have come across our borders illegally under Joe Biden's administration. There are many of them that we don't know who they are. They have not been vetted. We don't know where they are. I'll give you one quick example of one of the problems that we are getting after. From Central Asia, there were over 4,000 people who came across our borders using an ISIS-affiliated network. Our National Counterterrorism Center went through and identified those individuals. There were hundreds of them who were either known terrorists or associated with known terrorists. That information was provided to the Biden administration. You may remember in some of the news, a little over 100 of those people were arrested in 2024. Of those who were arrested, only 8 were either deported or remained in custody. Only 8. The rest of them were released back into our country. Where are they? What are they doing? What may they be plotting? This is just the beginning. There are many, many areas that we need to stay very focused on, working with Department of Homeland Security, working with the FBI to ensure that we're keeping the American people safe. Our Counterterrorism Center is working on making sure that we have that single source for vetting so that we can figure out who is actually in our country and identify those who pose a threat and get them removed. The president's designation of the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations falls directly into this, especially as we're seeing some of the tactics that these cartels are using reflect some of the tactics that we've seen used by Islamist terrorists in countries that many of us have served in overseas. Our mission is very clear. Our objective is to keep the American people safe. I'm grateful to be a part of this team that President Trump has assembled to accomplish that mission. Thank you.
Great. So before I take questions, let me just say two final things. First of all, the reason why we've seen, as Pete said, a 98% reduction of border crossings, the reason why this particular site has gone from over 1,500 crossings per day to 30 crossings per day is because President Trump has empowered and, in fact, demanded that his whole government take the task of border control seriously. And that's exactly what we're doing. And of course, and this leads to my final point before we take questions, it is impossible to do without the men and women on the ground who are actually doing the hard work. They just want to be empowered to do their jobs. President Trump has made that possible. So from the bottom of my heart and for a grateful nation, to every person I've met here today, thank you for working hard on the American people's business. It's been an honor to be with you. It's been an honor to see what you do, and we're going to keep on supporting you over the next 4 years. Congressman Gonzalez, thank you for being here, and thank you for your leadership. And now we'll take some questions from reporters. Sir.
So, as you guys have been exemplifying for today, that border crossings are down. A lot of attention has been turned to the interior, since obviously there's been a lot of illegal immigrants. What is, in your opinion, the biggest obstacle to actually carrying out President Trump's mass deportations? Even though, yes, like apprehensions and arrests and deportations have gone up in his first month, but a lot of people are expecting a bigger capacity for deportation. So what's
So let me say a few things about that. So first of all, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we have seen pretty significant increases in deportations and apprehensions and arrests. But we have to remember that President Biden gutted the entire immigration enforcement regime of this country. We are trying to rebuild so that we actually empower people to enforce the immigration laws of the American people. It is common sense. It's what the American people want us to do. There are a couple of other things that we're working on. I don't want to get ahead of any public announcements.
They got up here with that first trailer. Yeah, is Javier there? Javier, didn't we talk about you bringing trailers up here? Yeah, no, he decided to bring them up here. I talked to somebody earlier today.
But, you know, one of the ways that we wanted to make sure that we're enforcing our border is that we make it easier for people who are here illegally to go back home of their own accord. We don't want to have to go around and arrest every person, but we will enforce the American people's immigration laws. If you're here illegally, the message from our administration is you should go back home, and if you want to come to the United States, apply through the proper channels. That's an important thing that we're doing. And the final thing is this costs money. One of the most important parts of the president's reconciliation priorities is, of course, tax reform on the one hand, and on the other hand, making sure that we get proper resources so that we can pay for the flights, and we can pay for the detention centers, and we can pay for all the components necessary to ensure that we're re-migrating illegal immigrants back to their country of origin. I guarantee it is a part of the president's priorities. We'll keep on working on it. We've made a lot of progress, but we're going to keep on working on it over the remainder of the president's term. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Vice President, I want to ask you about border wall and tariffs. But first on the border wall, how do you and the president...
Could you say your outlook, by the way, when you guys ask questions?
Yeah, Reagan Reese, Daily Caller.
Thank you.
How do you and the president define success this term with the border wall, and how much of the southern border...
You missed me singing, girl. It was a good times going on. People was crying.
Wall needs to be walled off before Trump leaves office.
Well, look, I think the president's hope is that by the end of the term, we build the entire border wall. And of course, that's the physical structure of the border wall itself. But we even heard today, there are so many good technological tools, so many great artificial intelligence enabled technologies that allow us, for example, a camera, not a person, but a camera picks up somebody 2 miles away who's about to come across the southern border. Maybe it's livestock, right? Maybe it's a critter in the desert. Maybe it's a human being with a weapon on their back. We're using artificial intelligence to make us better at the job of border enforcement, but we've got to make sure that technology is deployed across the entire American southern border. We're going to do it as much as we can, as broadly as we can, because that's how we're going to protect the American people's security. Yeah, go ahead.
Last time they were paused because they deployed 10,000 troops to the border. What can they do this time to make the tariffs go away?
Well, what the president has said is we need a sustained commitment from the government of Mexico to take the job of border security seriously. Fentanyl is the single largest cause of death among young Americans, and we know that a substantial portion of it is, the precursors are made in China. They come to Mexico. They're manufactured in Mexico and brought across the border by the Mexican drug cartels. We want to see fewer Americans dying of these terrible fentanyl overdoses, when we're going to apply as much leverage as possible to the Mexican government as possible.
Hello? Hey, is this Hawk Logistics? Hawk Logistics. All right, my bad.
In some ways, look, the president obviously cares deeply about the American people.
He's bringing them in. Fine. Yeah, he's got people acting crazy. Remember when they was fighting over toilet paper?
A little bit. I just went through Wendy's because I'm a fat ass. I placed my order and the girl at the drive-thru said, "Is that all?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, thank you." She said, "I'm not a ma'am." Then I felt bad and I was like, "Oh, damn, I'm sorry, dude. It's hard to hear you. I just made some shit up." And then she said, "I'm not a guy either. What the fuck are you?" She said, "1101, please pull around." So I pull around, and sure enough, it's a girl. Her fucking name tag says they, them under her name with rainbows and shit all over it. She opens the window, says, "I know you weren't trying to be rude, but I'm non-binary, and my pronouns are they, them." So I'm like, "How many of you are there?" She said, "What do you mean?" I'm like, well, they, them is plural, meaning more than one person. Like when you say they came over here, that's a group of people. If it's singular, he or she came over here. No, that's not how it works. Yeah, actually, that's exactly how English works. Let me tell you how gender works. Unzip your pants and look in there, and you've got one or two things, and that'll tell you which one it is. She said, "I didn't choose to have a vagina." Well, I didn't choose to be ridiculously good looking, but here we are. She said, "Well, I don't think you're good looking at all." And I said, "Well, that's up for debate. But you know what's not up for debate? You having a fucking vagina." Homegirl starts having a full-blown meltdown, and I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it. I don't even want the food. Like, good luck with everything. Hope you find your kitty cat." And seriously, like, deep down inside, I really don't care what you want to be or think you are or identify as.
I don't want to hear that bullshit. Turkish member of Parliament Hassan Bismuth said Israel will suffer the wrath of Allah. This anxiety, suicide idea, and substance use disorders were significantly higher among those who underwent surgery. That's the ones that's having them sex change operations. California hit with a 7-point magnitude earthquake.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that'd be a little scary. Yeah, that'd be a little scary. They got like earthquake insurance. I reckon it's today.
Earthquake. I feel it. Oh my God.
I'm finna get seasick.
Dad, there's an earthquake happening. Look at the pool. Holy crap. Do you see the pool? There's an earthquake happening right now. Look at the pool. Wow. Holy crap, I can't even feel. What the frick? Everyone okay? How?
I never seen that.
I just got an alert saying earthquake. But yeah, I've never seen the pool do that. No, dogs, come. Nico! No, I don't want him to get near the water. Come on. Whoa.
Hey, give me the number off that trailer.
That's scary. I can't feel anything though. Do you? I don't feel it. I felt earthquakes. Otherwise.
Alright, here's Valley Grocery. I've seen it worse.
Alright, I'm gonna get your work order on that. You
Valley
can start
Grocery. I've seen it worse.
Pizzagate. Like when they had that guy come in and
I already
fire.
know. Ain't no time to go, Jody.
It just could be. What if nearly 300 years of history never happened? Stay with.
Where y'all at with that transmission? Huh? Y'all got it dropped down?
The world, and especially I would say Zionists in media, were demanding that we all pay attention. And when we began to pay attention, we didn't like what we saw. You cannot tell me to ever feel comfortable with 18,000 children being ruthlessly murdered. You can't get me to feel comfortable as a Christian with the amount of more explosives dropped, tons of explosives dropped on Gaza than were dropped in Hiroshima. This doesn't make sense to me. Gaza is 30 miles long, 7 miles wide. It's incredibly dense population. And this is, by the way, according to Haaretz, that 40,000 Palestinians have been murdered. I believe they're getting those numbers from the Gaza Health Ministry. And here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
Burn his ass up.
And I say God bless you. The only thing you should say is thank you. I don't need to hear all of this. How did you get in my house? Why is my window broken? I'm calling the police. Ain't nobody got time for that. If you sneeze...
The Japanese and the Germans had no idea that America was populated with dudes from coal mines in West Virginia that were like, yeah, I shot the prisoners. I done it.
Yeah, it was just dudes.
It was cruel, but I done it.
They just took orders their whole lives. They're like, go pick those weeds, boy. And they go out there and pick the weeds. And like, you're going to go fight those Japanese.
He's like, all right. He's like, yeah, it rained for a month. I didn't like it. What could I do? So I shot him. It's like, nuts, dude.
That's so, dude, those dudes were so fucking strong, too.
Yeah.
Just like 1940s farm boys?
Yeah.
They're the strongest.
Dude, literally a guy from a coal. His dad was in World War I, came back and worked in a coal mine for 50 years. And he was like, I want to be like my dad. And he just went to the coal mine, started working. And they pulled him out when he was 18 to go and World War II.
Imagine being a Japanese 19-year-old getting strangled to death by one of those guys. Just having the
guy that's
coal
like-
miner's hands around your neck. Like, yeah, now you better hold still there.
Yeah, come here now.
Come on now.
Now you were shooting at my buddies, so now you're dead.
Toronto Pearson International Airport.
है दीपावली और छठ की इस साल 7,000 ट्रेन्स रन की जा रही है छठ और दीपावली के लिए स्पेशल ट्रेन्स आने वाला समय छठ का समय है
That stinks.
And we've had enough. America's fed up with this betrayal of oath, and you'll be held accountable. One of you said you're willing to go to jail. We might give you that opportunity. Good mayor. And we've had enough. America.
Should have watched his question and know them people.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
That's why I've been doing balls and bringing them in there, stopping twerking and beating them while they're getting their haircut.
Patty cake with no hands. Got me in this club making wedding plans. If I take pictures while you do your...
I don't want to watch him.
With the war in Gaza, so am I. My name is Rawan Osman. I'm half Syrian, half Lebanese. Since October 7th, I visited Israel 9 times, and I want to testify before God and you, Israel is not the problem. Last week, Israel buried Shiri Bibas with her children Ariel and Kfir. Hamas said they had been arrested. Forensic reports show they were choked to death in Gaza. But many who point fingers at Israel might do better to look in the mirror. I ask Qatar, why didn't you arrest the Hamas chiefs in Doha and demand release of the hostages? Why did you finance terror? And I ask Iran, why do you send billions to Hamas and Hezbollah instead of liberating your own people who are suffering oppression and poverty? Egypt, you charged Gazans thousands of dollars to escape the war. How can you lecture about the morality of displacing Gazans? Jordan, why have you refused to accept any Gazans? Are they not your own people? Lebanon, instead of discussing Hezbollah's political role, ban the party. Syria, if the new president is sincere about his transformation, I ask him to return the body of Eli Cohen. It's been 6 decades. Allow his wife to bury him before she dies. Hamas abuses their bodies. Be a better Arab. Be a better Muslim. Thank you.
Well, I've seen Israel abusing bodies too.
To further...
The long night. Frank, this right here is what you need to be cooking for your birthday. He's got one glove on, and he's touching the food with a hand that he don't got a glove on. That's unsanitary. Hell yeah. Making a burrito.
Plane has crashed.
9/11.
Put on a few.
Mine outweighs me now.
Well, we have a new member today. His name is Dom, and his wife is getting fat.
Hey, Dom.
My name's Dom, and my wife's getting fat.
How fat we talking, brother?
Pretty fat.
You know, I met her back in college. She was cute, solid 7. And a few years goes by, boom, she's breaking out the sweatpants. I can't even afford the Uber Eats bill.
You're gonna have to take on a second job to feed her.
At first, her boobs were getting bigger, and I was like, hello. But then it didn't stop. And I was like, hello? You're 170. That's a lot of weight.
170? Is this a joke?
I'd kill for $170.
Yeah, I thought this was a support group for guys with fat wives. That's just a little bit of cushion. You might want to go down the hall, Dom. Hey, this isn't a competition, guys. We all have fat wives. And I apologize for them. They're just a little testy. Their wives have gotten very fat.
I'm sorry. I've just had a tough week. Last night, my wife decides to take a bath.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I guess she got tired of me hitting her with the cold hose. Chaos ensues. She floods the whole first floor. Latino landlord kicks open the door. Guy's soaked. Thought it was the Rapture, poor prick.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, no, she's still in there. Gotta go home after this and grease her out.
I recommend Valvoline Full Synthetic for that.
You know, they say they get nicer when they get fat. That's a myth, brothers.
That's rich, Daryl. Your wife's on Ozempic, isn't she? Isn't she? It didn't take!
Hello?
It didn't take. I looked at her search history yesterday, and all it was body positivity Reddit.
Oh, fuck.
Put a fork in her. You're cooked.
The geese.
Goes to the office every day.
There's nothing to do. There's nothing to pretend to do.
Though Edward McSwegan once managed a large portfolio of research at the National Institutes of Health,
Making
NIH.
$100,000 a year.
That cutting the court backlog is easy, although it will be quick. But the
So today it becomes law that Muslims and minorities are to be given lesser sentences than white British people. You couldn't make this shit up.
Well, there's 12 flight attendants, individual, never the same flight attendant twice. 11 fucking over-the-top fucking ass fucking homosexuals and a granny. 11. I mean, think of the odds of that. I thought I was in Chicago, which was Partyland. After that, it was just a continuous stream of gays and grannies and grandes. Oh, I don't give a fuck. I hate 100% of their asses. So, 6 months I went to the bar 3 times. In 6 months, 3 times. Once with the granny and the fag, and I wish I hadn't gone. At the very end with 2 girls, one of them that was probably doable, but we ended up going to the bar and then to the crew in St. Louis, and all these 2 women wanted to do was one wanted to berate her sister and the other wanted to bitch about her husband. Literally, for 3 hours, me and the FO. When that was done, 2:30 got back to my room. I'm like, why the fuck did I tip?
Okay, whoever's transmitting, Bill, watch what you're saying.
Friendly, but there was still no pit. You know what I mean? I still wouldn't want anyone to know if I had taken them. So, I mean, it was a complete disaster for 6 months. Now I'm back in Houston, which is easily one of the ugliest bases. I mean, it's all these fucking old dudes and grannies, and there's like maybe a handful of cute chicks.
Okay, someone's got a stuck mic and tell us all about their endeavors. We don't need to hear that.
He's just telling it like it is.
The scenes finally spill all the beans. Yep, the White House lied while Biden's brain died. Our video of the day comes to us from a former Biden White House official detailing how his team spun the narrative around Joe's mental decline and tanking poll numbers. Watch.
We were always, from day one, cognizant that age was an issue. There was a lot of denial of the polling, and they did do a lot of gaslighting of people, and I think if you were watching MSNBC, you probably believed them, and were probably pretty shocked.
Yeah, shocked indeed. And dangerous. Gaslighting around such an old fart. You know, Adam. Yes. So now you have all these brave souls coming out of the woodwork, screaming at the rooftops. Like, where were they?
Well, first of all, no one was watching MSNBC. So that's... And everyone could see that, like, that he was more frozen than Nancy Pelosi's forehead. You know, I mean, he was talking to more dead people than the Psychic Friends Network. It was completely obvious what was going on. At the debate, they had to put an electric fence around him so he wouldn't wander off, you know? It was... Yes.
Give me a scenario, a reason why he can't put on a suit. Even if you're in the midst of a war, why can't you put on a suit when you're coming to ask for money? Well, because he wants people to see him as a guy that's downtrodden in the trenches. And he's not that. This guy has been on the cover of Vanity Fair. He's been on the cover of Vogue. He's been on the cover of Forbes. He's doing photo shoots. He did a 3-hour podcast with Lex Friedman. He asked and was declined a spot to go to the Oscars a couple of years ago. And so this is making a mockery.
Damn.
It's just making him put on a suit.
See,
you know?
this is why people got to be careful about messing with you, because I was getting ready to disagree with you until you threw out those last. Like, I didn't know he tried to go to the Oscars. I didn't know he tried to be on the cover of Vogue. I didn't know that stuff, Candace. I honestly didn't know. Okay, that does change it a little bit.
And he is a literal actor, by the way. You know, in a suit. As soon as he gets out of the car, Trump's like,
he's a faggot. Remember when the government attempted to force Amish children to attend American public schools and the rest of their parents were not complying?
We're going to force Amish children into American public schools. And when the Amish woke up that morning, they would find a yellow school bus escorted by the police on their farm. The police had been told to force the Amish school children onto the bus. Well, the parents didn't just give in, and one mother tried to physically block the bus, but she failed. That's when one of the fathers yelled out, "Run!" And the children would take off running. And Amish parents would go to prison as a result of their standoff with the local school district. But this photograph was published by a local newspaper. And shortly after, magazines all over the country. And the American people were outraged. And an attorney who saw the photograph formed the National Committee for Amish Religious Freedom. And 7 years later, the Amish would win.
7 years.
In the Supreme Court. It was one of the most important religious freedom cases in American history. And this is why I write books to help parents teach their children their rights. And it's why I teach a course on the U.S. Constitution. Because our kids should not only be taught the structure of the court system, but how to use tools like affidavits and conditional consents to defend their rights. Because we only have rights if we know how to defend them. And that's definitely not being taught in public schools. Check out my private homeschool community and my books on the First Amendment, the right to bear arms.
Homeschool them. Let's go to 211 to 209 to proceed with a vote to censure Al Green for disrupting President Trump's speech. What does a censure do? Daylight savings time changed. It's canceled. Do you prefer an hour earlier or an hour later? It depends.
Almost every one of you can make more money selling cars, I promise you that. But instead, you're taking a lower pay in order to serve the American people. That's right. And we are deeply, deeply grateful. Yeah. And please be hopeful. We are not going to lose this. We're not going to lose. We're here today, but this is a marathon. Yeah.
Oh, get out of here with that shit.
Pitcher. Amanda Whirlich.
That's right, Bad News Bears.
Huge figures and out, girl. Ride the fast, hunk.
That's a bad movie.
Trump asked in his speech last night, how could anyone possibly be opposed to any of this action that he is taking? Well, apparently, the modern-day Democrat Party could. The behavior of Democrats last night was completely disgraceful and demonstrated how severely out of touch they are with the American public. It was the most shameful moment in the history of presidential addresses in that beautiful chamber. In what was supposed to be a unifying moment for our country, Democrat members of Congress instead screamed at the President of the United States, who was just overwhelmingly reelected by their constituents, walked out of the chamber, and worst of all, they disrespected the American people. Democrats didn't stand to keep men out of women's sports. They couldn't even clap for a girl who got her head smashed in by a man on a volleyball court. Democrats didn't stand for an innocent and beautiful child who is surviving brain cancer. They opposed eliminating taxes on tips and Social Security. They didn't stand in favor of cutting taxes for hardworking Americans. They couldn't even clap for two mothers whose daughters were killed by illegal aliens. One of the only things that could get Democrats off their feet last night was cheering for Ukraine. Not for America. Last night was a very clarifying moment for our country. The Democrats exposed themselves as the party of insanity and hate, the party that wants to put America last. They've allowed their Trump derangement syndrome to stop them from celebrating America and our people, and we will not allow them to forget that.
With ICE.
Our local law enforcement, Chicago Police Department, we work with federal agents on a variety of issues: drug trafficking, sex trafficking, getting guns off the street, and we will continue to work with federal agents.
Will you stop harboring illegal aliens? Will you end sanctuary city policies?
So the city of Chicago, we do not harbor criminals. We do not harbor undocumented individuals. We comply with all laws.
Mayor Wu, will you work with ICE to protect Americans, legal Americans in your city, and end sanctuary policies?
The Boston Police work with ICE and federal agencies every single day on criminal matters and hold people who are committing crimes accountable.
Chairman, if I may, I'd like to enter for the record, according to the U.S. Constitution, giving aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States is an act of treason, and those that violate that should be.
With that objection to order.
Treason. Largest dirty NGO in America, Friday Foundation, First Day Foundation.
You gotta understand, I'm 17, y'all finna put me in jail for a murder charge. I'm not finna, like, then why do I get convicted for this murder charge? I'm not gonna sit.
Then you gone, buddy. Stop hanging around with the wrong crowd.
The light of day, I'm never gonna see the light of day again. Like, y'all, you wouldn't even trying to work with me, like, work with you now? Like, you already knew you was gonna put me in jail when you came in here. Like.
So, I mean, what did you expect me to do?
Man, they made it seem like y'all was just gonna interview me and I was gonna go home.
And again, like I said, you asked for an attorney.
Come on,
this point in time,
I don't want no. Come on,
by right,
come on, man. Please, man, come on, man.
By law, I cannot engage in a question and answer session.
Come on, man. I'm only 17, man. Please, man. Come on.
What are you asking me to do?
Like, you can't, like, can I go home, man? Like, let me get home.
That's up to the courts.
So I'm going down for a murder charge.
Today, it will, yes.
Yep.
Family is originally from before they came to Israel?
My mom came from Miami, and my father was born here.
Where's your family, like, originally from?
My father, Argentina. My mom, Paulina, and
Poland and Romania. We're both
Nazi Jews, them fake Jews that do lie. Never scared. Never scared. Time is. Oh, it's 5:30, fellas. We finna wrap this up for today. I appreciate y'all being over here. Happy birthday to Gibson out there. Happy birthday to Gibson. Let's see what we got. Uh-oh. Disturbing video. Look at all them dead bodies. Like someone's been eaten. There's bones and shit. Probably got a giant living around there. Left a lot of meat on that horse head.
What is he doing?
Wants to shoot that fucking thing.
So we're in the middle of our firefight, and all of a sudden we see Jamshid just walking up like a boss.
He didn't give a fuck, dude.
He's not scared of anything. Rounds coming around him, like everyone else is down, behind cover. And he's just walking up in the wide open.
Go get him, brother.
With this RPG over his shoulder.
Dude, he's gonna go fuck some shit up.
He just stands up, posts up, and starts aiming at the green zone where we're taking fire from.
Hey, A&A's gonna fire an RPG just because.
Oh my, what the fuck?
Damn. Good shot.
American motherfucker!
Good shot, man.
perfect. You couldn't get a more perfect RPG shot than he had.
What's he doing?
Hi, I'm 14, and I'm going to wear sandals today to school, even though I live in Alaska. Whoops. There's snow. Wait, I'm going to go get the shovel. I'm going to get Dad's shovel, and then I'm going to bring it back over here, and then I'm going to shovel a spot, and then I'm going to step in it. I'm going to shovel a spot, and I'll step in it, and I'll shovel a spot, and then I'm going to stop and realize this is going to take a lot of work. And I'm going to step in it, and I'm going to shovel, 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 and I'm going to keep shoveling because I'm so committed to wearing sandals in Alaska when it's not even spring yet. And then, uh-oh. Is that the bus? Is that the bus? Oh, no. Oh, no. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. There's Dad's shovel. I don't care that that's Dad's shovel. I'm going to go to school. I gotta catch the bus. And she did.
Look, the shovel in out there. Shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Release all the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all their dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it's over for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are sick and twisted. I'm sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning for the leadership. Now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. Also, to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Make a smart decision, release the hostages now, or there will be hell to pay later. Donald J. Trump.
Arrest in a Tukwila teenager's murder. So we first showed you this video when it happened on January 10th. Medics trying to save a teen's life after he was stabbed and then just left to die outside of an apartment complex in Tukwila. Well, now an arrest has been made 2 states away in Utah. The FBI Safe Streets task force spearheading that manhunt and learned the suspect fled to Utah. Well, officers there spotted 20-year-old Jose Antonio Cedino Ponce at a business in Utah County. They were able to arrest him there. According to court docs, Cedino Ponce drove to a spot in Tukwila to fight with high schoolers and came armed with a knife. And during that fight, police say he stabbed and killed 16-year-old Alan Jailer. Now, Cedino Ponce has been charged with second-degree murder. He is still in Utah awaiting extradition. Meanwhile, the victim's family has set up a GoFundMe. You can find this on our website. We are following a big arrest in
for 12 years or more, you automatically qualify for a record expunge. Now, that's a touchy topic right there. I have no problem with it. Trust me, I have no problem with that. Being an ex-felon, wanting to be an open gun carrier, wanting to get, better credit, wanting to get better jobs. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with, does it only qualify for us? Or does it qualify for the pedos? Those dudes that like to prey on the youngins? Because if that's the case, man, that's a no-no. They should have no rights to get any record expunged. You feel me? But damn, more than 12 years, you get your record expunged for all ex-felons. That's cool, man. That's good because a lot of people out there can't get jobs, righteous jobs because of their background. And I'm talking about government jobs. You want a government job? They look through all your stuff. They want to make sure you have no criminal record. We've been doing this show for about 3 hours now. Where you been at, girl?
To the Battle of Blood River, one of the most significant battles in our history, where they found themselves completely surrounded. They were about, let's say, 400.
Before the Boers.
Yes, surrounded by 12,000 Zulus. And so they had this wagon. And my great-great-great-great-grandfather was in that lager, and he was the religious leader. His name is Sarel Celia. So Sarel Celia...
And what was their religion?
Christian.
Dutch Reform?
Dutch Reform, yes. Yep. So he said to them, listen, we need to make a vow to God. And so he wrote a vow, which they all made. And the vow said that we're standing here in front of the God in heaven and earth to make a vow to him that if he protects us in the battle that lies ahead, we will commemorate this day in the years to come as a day of thanksgiving and a Sabbath, And we will also tell our children the story, and we will build a church, and we will make sure that the honor of the victory goes to God and not to us. So they made this vow, and the battle took place, and the result was that not one of the Afrikaners were killed. 3,000 Zulus died in that battle.
Not one was killed?
Yes, yeah. And so the reason why I'm telling this story is not to point to the Zulu people. We have good relations with the Zulu, and we've worked with them. This was, of course, the one major battle, but we've had good relations with them over the years. But it says something about, firstly, why the Afrikaner people are so patriotic. It says something about why we are so attached to African soil, and why we are still religious. We're a very religious community. We have some problems in terms of belief and so
If
forth.
I was
But
doing $1,000 a stream, I'd be on here all the time. You couldn't get me to get off this thing.
broadly speaking, the Afrikaners are, compared to Europe and compared to some parts of America, still a very religious people. And it also says something about why we are so attached to the country and why we don't want to leave. We want to stay there because our ancestors have been there for hundreds of years, and we fought and died for our space.
There's some Afrikaners, white Afrikaners.
You believe that any of the America First agenda is going to be rammed through, then Pam Bondi has to go. America is not going to be restored with some gun-grabbing, John McCain-worshipping Zionist bimbo who covers up for Jewish sex traffickers and government pedophiles in charge of the Justice Department. That's not going to work, okay? Nobody should accept that. And Pam Bondi showed the American people that when she brought a bunch of
Ain't nobody
Elon's...
gonna call her out on it because they're all part of it. Halle Berry, she's a whore. Look at them feet.
Actions ordered. We
Please not be theater.
put it in the record.
I haven't entered it.
You have what?
Mr. Chair, can I have several articles. I need to enter them. Let me just go ahead with what the articles are. They speak to.
What's the next article?
Let me proceed. Data from Texas shows that U.S.-born Americans commit more rape and murder than immigrants.
Listen, this trend of you all trying to get thrown out of committee so you can get on MSNBC is going to end. We're not going to put up with it.
This is my procedural right as a member of this committee.
You can go with Mr. Frost and Mr. Green.
I'm reclaiming my time.
That's what you want. No. Ms. Presley, I have been very accommodating to you. Mr. Superjohn,
and I take particular umbrage as a survivor of sexual violence. I will insert into the record. This is my right. Thank you.
No. It is Mr. Superjohn.
Mr. Chair?
No, you know the process of unanimous consent. You are not recognized.
I have several articles to enter into the record.
Mr. Superjohn, if you don't go, we're going to recognize Mr. Timmons.
Thank you.
Throw her bald-headed ass out.
With me right now, I'm gone every weekend, and whenever I get home and I greet her for the first time, she thinks I should be more excited than I am. I'm not excited enough for her, and I'm trying to explain to her that it feels like I didn't even leave because we talked the entire fucking time. You text me every 10 minutes so you know I'm alive. You send me 12 TikToks a day that I have to watch because they need her opinion on him at the end of the fucking night. Just where was the chance to miss you, dude? And she gets pissed. She's like, you greet the dog better than you greet me. I didn't talk to him the whole time. Also, I don't know what you think you're doing, but he's way more excited to see me than you are. He fucking pees a little bit when I walk in the house. You don't even put your phone down. Start pissing when I come home. I'll get on my knees and rub your belly. How about that?
Farewell address he warned America of the dangers of foreign alliances and entanglements, the military-industrial complex, and the eternal threat of corrupt politicians. We got a shitload of them up there. All right there, fellas, we're going to wrap this up. Appreciate y'all being over here. Happy birthday, Gibson. Good afternoon from the southeast there, Fox. Where you been at, girl? Frank, we will holler at y'all. When we going to holler at them, Jamie? Later.
with a wrench in hand, fixing up his big old ride. Semi-truck, not sleigh this year, needs to make it home by night. Carols playing on the radio, snowflakes fall within the light. Santa breathing heavy sighs, knows he's got to make it right. Santa's working on the double, grease and sweat mixed in his beard. Hopes to beat
to a bunch of illiterate people who don't know how to read.
You're literally 15. What do you know?
You know how to read?
Yes, I do know how to read.
Name 10 books.
Are you serious?
Yes, 100%. Name 10 books.
Well, I've read Game of Thrones. I'm obsessed with like the Twilight series. Game of Thrones, the series.
What's the book called? It's not called Game of Thrones. Just trying to come up with a bunch of nonsense that you can name any actual book.
Bro, shut up, kid. You're changing the subject.
Okay, 3 books.
Okay. Well, the Game of Thrones series, the Twilight series. It is a book. It is a book.
No, but I want the name of the book.
I'll Google the book right now. Matter of fact, you want to show me? Let me show you the series. Since you don't believe me, I'll show you. Right, you don't believe me.
The book is called Song of Ice and Fire. Now, before you embarrass yourself by looking up the name of a book, she couldn't even actually name a single book. She doesn't know how to read. She's clearly illiterate. I didn't know that I was gonna be sitting.
Reindeer resting in the barn, elves off duty for the day. Santa's got the tools in hand, wants to make it home to play. Christmas lights upon the dash, guiding him through frosty roads. Truck is roaring down the way.